NDP leader John Horgan became the province's 36th premier to swearing in a government house. We got our first look at his new cabinet. Just taking a look at some of the key portfolios, you have Carol James as the finance minister, deputy premier, inheriting a pretty good economic situation for the province. Attorney General David Eby, Rob Fleming, who's in charge of education, he'll have to put more money into the teachers deal. Adrian Dix, in charge of the Mammoth Health Ministry, which takes up 40% of government's budget. And Judy Darcy from New Westminster, who will take over a mental health and addictions ministry being created out of scratch by the New Democrats as a big campaign promise to deal with the opioid overdose crisis. And then Selena Robinson, who is Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, going to execute the NDP's ambitious co-op rental social housing program with a parliamentary secretary under her, Bowen Ma from North Vancouver, who will be in charge of the TransLink transit situation. A couple of the more surprising cabinet ministers include Katrine Conroy, who's the new Minister of Children and Family Development. It's a very tough portfolio. She is one of the 4 NDP MLAs who are from outside of Metro Vancouver and Vancouver Island. Did not expect to see her in that post. And also Michelle Mungal in the Ministry of Energy, Mines and Petroleum Resources, a rising star in the NDP. Not a surprise she's in cabinet, but to be in charge of energy, BC Hydro, the massive $9 billion Site C dam, and whether or not that's going to go forward and the review over that, and even LNG, which falls under that ministry, is a very interesting choice for that job as well. So 2 of the more surprising additions to the Horgan portfolio. A diverse cabinet of a mix of new and old MLAs, 22 cabinet ministers and ministers of state divided, 11 men, 11 women, and overall a very interesting cabinet by the new premier. And now everyone gets down to work in the coming days ahead. As the premier said, there's an agenda they want to get going right away, and it starts with a mission to Ottawa by John Horgan and to Washington, D.C. As early as next week.